Hello, my name is Joe Fauché. I'm here to talk about social justice issues in the Latin American countries. Inequality has become more of a problem in today's world as globalization has taken over, making us more connected, but at the same time, it can isolate those same people. The lifestyle that we have created is for many, but not for all. As we dig deeper on this issue and we analyze the matter, it is clear that inequality comes in many forms. Human rights, economic equality, the environment, and violence that can be the subject to huge problems when looking into Latin America, facing both social justice and human rights issues on both sides. Pollution in these countries is visible not just as an airborne problem, but also as a massive physical problem, having overfilled landfill and pollutants in their cities. These areas in Latin America struggle to have proper sanitation, sewage control that other top countries have in the world, making them a health risk for their own country and areas nearby. The recent increase in droughts and their strength also pose a threat to the infrastructure of these cities, making it costly to rebuild and some areas never being rebuilt. This year of 2020 has been one of the worst years in recorded history in just the Gulf of Mexico for storms during this current hurricane season, and along with the rest of the world has an increase in storms. This leaves the issue of these countries in Latin America having some megacities, which can lead to high risk disease pollutants in areas nearby where the land waste is filled. And on the outside of these megacities are where? Poor, broken down cities and homes that are stuck facing the pollutants and pollution dumped onto them. For example, Rio de Janeiro in Brazil, Sao Paulo in Brazil, Bogota in Colombia, and Buenos Aires in Argentina are all megacities, and outside of these cities, neighboring them are smaller countries and areas that are not as supported as they are, and a lot of their waste goes into these areas. Some of these megacities do not have the proper pollution and waste facilities to support their area, and so that leads for dumping into nearby areas. However, these places are still where people live, and so this is a daily issue that people face of sanitation and health. The environment that Latin America faces is a constant fight over deforestation, losing large areas of land that will never be restored or fixed in any other way, but industrialized and made into areas for housing, and places of business. One of the biggest countries that has to face this problem is Brazil. They have a huge forest region in their country, and they are very susceptible with the weather leading current droughts that can come and completely uproot and destroy these forest and water ecosystems that they have. This all factors into how the people of these areas are going to be able to live, their economic state of wealth, and how many problems they will be facing in their daily lives with deforestation and the weather being both storms and droughts alike that they have to face. The system of Latin America has very unpredictable wealth for its citizens overall, but does have a good amount of wealth coming out of the country, outperforming countries of nearby status and ranking. This country has set up and established some forms of public education and public health facilities and health centers throughout parts of the country. However, it still lacks and is lacking industry in some other areas and has to rely on. This leads to them having to rely on outside sources, outsourcing for shipping and mailing other things, because their mailing facilities also are lacking throughout this country, leading to problems. Inequality in this country, with this country already not being on the more wealthy side of the world's countries, its wealth is clearly divided when you can see 30% of the country holds is living below the poverty line, and 70% of the country, the 70% of the country owns the other half of the world's wealth, and they are way above the poverty line. People can try to tie the caste system having influenced their country's inequality, stacking whites on top, then mixing Europeans and Indian, or mixed Europeans and African people at the bottom, being blacks and Indians. The caste system in place did hurt their society of Latin America as a whole, and today we see the results that we are currently living in from the past of what they established back then. You see similar issues in America that we have divided ourselves with segregation before in the past, and only today are starting to fix these problems. Inequality is one of the biggest social justice issues that Latin America faces, with its problems of wealth equality being vast. Their crime is also an issue, with drug trafficking being a part of this throughout all of Latin America, along the coast especially. The people of this country have little formal education and public education systems to help them develop further as a nation and in many areas of its region.